Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Faith and Recovery Live. I'm not sure what to call this one. I have called them Faith and Recovery Live Mobile when I've been in my car. As you can see, I'm outside my car because inside my car was too dark. And I have a receding hairline, so my hair just went away, and I didn't care for that look so much. So, I don't know. We can call this Faith and Recovery Live natural? I don't know. Anyway, so I am sitting here next to my car. I can see some trees. I can see some grass. I can hear a bird, some kind of an insect. It's summertime. I can feel kind of an evening breeze on my face. I see a lightning bug or firefly, whatever you want to call them. I'm aware of my surroundings. I think I mentioned toward the end of last time that we talked, I wanted to talk about brain chemistry and what that has to do with recovery. The reason I just described my surroundings is because as I'm engaging with my surroundings, I'm actually enjoying them. Like, it feels good. It feels good to feel the breeze. It feels good to hear the animals. When someone's in active addiction, they don't hear the birds. They don't feel the breeze. Everything is about the drug. Everything is about the next hit, the next fix, the next relationship, or whatever. There's a shrinking down. There's a minimizing of the world. Everything shrinks down to me and the drug and how I'm going to get it next. All of my mental powers, all of my heart, my mind, my soul, my strength, everything that's me is wrapped up in getting whatever it is that I'm after, whatever it is I'm addicted to. And you can't feel it from the inside. Someone might say to you, "Hey, why is your life so small? Why are you living such a small life?" And the addict says, "I'm not. Like, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about." What is actually going on in the brain? Why is it that there's such a reduction of the awareness? Why does the world of the addict shrink so small? And then why does it come alive afterwards? I'm going to oversimplify things because this is Faith and Recovery Live. If you want to have more information about this, there's going to be in the comments to this live video, there's going to be another video that's about an hour long by a doctor named Dr. Kevin McCauley. He's done a lot of research, and he makes a lot of sense. So if you want more in-depth than what I'm going to be talking about here, you can check there. Also, you can look for my podcast. That's something I'm doing on a weekly basis as well. That hasn't dropped yet, but we'll be going into a little bit more there as well. But oversimplified version, here it is. When our brains are functioning properly, when they're functioning in a healthy way, when they are running the way they're meant to run, the way they're supposed to, one of the chemicals in our brain is something called dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical that our brain uses to signal value and to signal something that needs to be repeated. Now, one of the things Dr. Kevin says is that dopamine is a lot more about want and not so much about like. So it's not as much a sense of this is better than that. It's more a sense of I want that. So there's not a lot of contemplation. There's not a lot of thinking involved in dopamine. It's more desire. It's more hunger. It's what do I have to have? Now, in a healthy brain, this is attached to things like food, water, sleep, safety, relationships. These are things that our brain attaches value to and says, I want to eat food, I want to drink water, I want to get sleep. The brain does this because that's what keeps us alive. So basically, the brain is watching how our body interacts with substances like pizza or a glass of water or sweet tea or a sandwich from Subway, and it realizes that that's having a positive impact on the body, and it sends a dopamine signal and says, hey, this is important, remember this. This is what keeps us alive. Now, what happens in an addiction is that the drug, the behavior, the substance, it triggers that dopamine, and it begins to flood the system with dopamine. And so the brain begins to value that just as much and more than it does things like food and water and sleep and relationships. And so when that happens, instead of needing to be aware of our surroundings, needing to look for food, needing to look for somewhere to sleep, instead of being concerned about relationships, our brain is like, no, we don't need any of that, because those are way down the list from this drug or this behavior. Those are way down the list. The thing we really need to stay alive, the thing we really need to stay healthy is this drug. Like this right here, this is it, this is the answer. And so our world shrinks. Our world shrinks down to nothing more than getting that drug, getting that behavior, and chasing it and chasing it and chasing it. So how does that wake back up? Well, when we finally realize, and I would say when God works a miracle and breaks through our brain chemistry and somehow opens our eyes to the fact of what we really need, what we really are in need of. Pardon me. When that happens, we stop doing whatever the drug or behavior is. There's some abstinence there. We just stop doing it, however that happens. For some people that's rehab, for some people that's separation, for some people that's just abstaining from whatever behavior it is, maybe no gambling or pornography or whatever it is that you're addicted to, you just don't do it for a while. And then what happens is that flood of dopamine starts to subside. Now, pardon me. The first thing that happens is you feel horrible. I'm sorry, but the first thing that happens is you feel horrible. And that's because the dopamine level has been cruising here, and then all of a sudden it just goes boom, like this. Because all of a sudden we're not doing the drug, we're not using the substance, okay? We're not engaged in that relationship. And our body has been so used to that artificial supply of dopamine that it hasn't been building any. And so when it comes time to want to sleep or want to eat food or want to engage in a relationship, we don't have any desire to do it. We don't have anything in us that wants to do that because we've been running on artificial dopamine. Sorry, there's a fire truck or ambulance going by, so conversation's a little hard at the moment. And there they go. And so it takes a minute, it takes a moment, it takes a few days, weeks for our body to be like, oh, let's build some dopamine. We need to want food. We need to want sleep. And so once our body begins to rebuild that, that's when our world starts to expand again, and we can feel pleasure of the breeze on our face. We can feel pleasure of hearing a bird sing. We can feel pleasure because our dopamine levels are coming back up. Now, like I said, that's a real oversimplification. That's a massive oversimplification. And like I said, there's more information that will be available. I'll put it in the comments. But here's what I want to point out. There's no amount of shouting, yelling, calling bad names, tough love. None of that makes neurotransmitters happen in the body. Like, none of that builds dopamine in the person. This takes time. This takes time, and it takes healing. It takes rest. It takes a lot of things, but a lot of the things that we sometimes think would be helpful, that isn't how it works. And so I would just encourage you, if you're dealing with someone who is in addiction and you're wondering how you should respond and how you should react and how you can get them back to themselves, get them back to real life, it's just time. It takes time. You can support them in their recovery behaviors. You can encourage them that they're not alone, but it just takes time. If you're the person that's saying, how long will it take me to get back? How long will I have to be like this? I would encourage you, it takes time. Now, you can go to meetings, you can be a part of groups, you can just keep doing the things that have to be done for recovery, but it just takes time. One last thing I would say, and it's getting dark, and so I'm going to go ahead and sign off real quick. But one other thing I would just mention is that it is impossible to describe to a 5-year-old how exciting it is to drive a car. Okay, they don't really have a framework for that. It's impossible to describe to someone who has, well, some of you have relatives like this. It's impossible to describe. Oh, hey, good to see you. I'm guessing from the comment that that's not Kelly, that's Justin. So, hello, Justin. It's impossible to describe to someone who doesn't understand the internet how email works. Okay, if you're the addict and it doesn't make sense to you how getting better works, it's okay. You have to trust that it works. You just have to trust it. So surround yourself with people that you know you can trust, and then just lean on them as you do this rebuilding process. I promise you, the birds do sing again. You do get your life back. You actually get more back than you started with. So hang in there if that's you. And if you're the person walking alongside that person, the addict already knows how rotten they are. The addict already knows how rotten their life is. They don't necessarily have to be convinced or reminded of that. If they've gotten to the point where they're trying to do something different, they know how bad it is. Be a source of hope. Be a source of encouragement. Be a support to that person. That will get them and you a whole lot farther. All right, guys, like I said, it's getting dark. I can basically see my forehead. I can't even see my mouth anymore. So I will work on the lighting situation next time. I apologize, but thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching, and check the comments if you want to see that other video that has a whole lot more information about brain chemistry and how that has an impact on addiction and recovery. So thank you for being here for this Faith and Recovery Live, and I'll see you guys next week. Love ya.